Let's keep these predictions rolling. Today we're talking about BYU, one of the most consistent programs in the country over the last 2 seasons. Let's do it. As I mentioned, today we're talking about BYU, a program that's been really good the last 2 years. And how about this season? They returned 18 of 22 starters from a season ago. They absolutely dismantled the Pac-12 last year, went 7-0 against that conference a year ago. And this year, their schedule does not get any easier. It's one of the toughest schedules in the country, and we're definitely going to dive into that after we talk a little bit about what they have returning, some of the highlights from the team going into next year, and maybe some of their key losses as well. So at quarterback, Jaron Hall is back, and this guy I think is going to be sensational for them once again. He showed flashes last year and overall was very consistent, but I think this year there's another step for him to take in his progression. They relied a lot on Tyler Algier last year, their running back who got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, and now they're going to turn to Cal running back Christopher Brooks. He was a huge gift for them. They won him in a battle against other Power 5 schools, so they're going to continue to be able to run the football, but I do think this is Jaron Hall's offense this upcoming season. The reason for it, well, how about great wide receivers and a great offensive line? Gunnar Romney, he's coming back. Puka Nacua, he's coming back as well at wide receiver. They feel really good about their depth chart as well at the wide receiver position, and they return a ton up front. A unit that's probably going to go 9, 10 guys deep, and that's just massive. When you have that kind of stability up front, especially in the conference they play in, which is a conference that's independent, but you get to play these teams who just aren't quite on the same level as Brigham Young up front. They're going to have a lot of success against those teams going forward. On the defensive side, I love what they have returning. Last year, they had problems stopping the run. That's an area that I think they're going to address this offseason. They were already pretty good against the pass, but stopping the run I think is going to be key for them if they want to take another step in the right direction this year and potentially, reach that 10-win mark, which is something they were able to do last year and the year before. So very excited about what they have returning up front, and I think that unit is going to take a huge step in the right direction going into next season. Again, consistent. Just all consistency, right? 21-4 the last 2 years. I think that is just a sign of kind of the culture of this program and what they've been able to build under Kalani Sitake. And I think because of that stability, that culture, returning quarterback, I just think it leads to great things for this team. So looking at their schedule, I see the wins being at USF, Wyoming, Utah State, at Liberty, East Carolina, and Utah Tech. I think those are definitely wins. I feel really good about each of those. I think they all could be pretty easy wins as well for this team. The should wins, the games that I kind of look at and I go, okay, there's a reason that they're going to be favored in these games, but there's also concern on my end that, okay, if they don't show up for this game, kind of like they didn't show up for the Boise State game a year ago, these kind of fit in that range. So at Boise State, at Stanford. I think those are going to be two kind of tricky games, tough games, that they should win, but who knows? Maybe they stumble and they fall and end up losing one, but I do think they're very winnable games as well. Should lose games, the games that I categorize as I don't think they're going to win it, but if they did, it'd be a massive step forward for the program and a massive step towards winning 10, 11 games this upcoming season. The 2 games that fall in this category are Baylor and Notre Dame. Baylor beat them a year ago. Notre Dame is just going to be really good again this year. Probably another top 10 season for the Fighting Irish. I think those are going to be 2 very tough games for BYU to win. The close calls. I, for some reason, think that BYU is going to win one of these games, but at Oregon and against Arkansas. Too close for me to call. I think it really could go either way. BYU returning as much as they do, I think they're going to really push these 2 programs in those matchups and make it rather interesting going to the finish line. The over-under right now for BYU is 8.5. And this is one of the trickiest over-unders I've come across, to be honest with you, because I think if they go 8-4, they might be the best 8-4 team in the country this year. But I kind of am leaning towards the over. I think they're going to go 9-3. And I think that's a pretty good mark, to be honest. With this kind of schedule, to see 10-2 means you're anticipating they're going to upset either Oregon and Arkansas, or, Baylor or Notre Dame on their schedule as well. I just don't know that I see that. But 9-3, I think it's doable. I think with veteran leadership, and if they're able to stay healthy, this is a team that could definitely overachieve this year and reach that 9-3 mark, which again is an expectation, right? BYU has these expectations now that they're going to go out and have an opportunity to win 10 games every single year. I think they're going to give themselves a shot at it this year, but maybe come up just short of that 10-win mark. So for Grayson Grunefer, this has been more win totals, more win expectations, and we will have more later on in the week. Thanks for joining.